Go into your bathroom and open the cabinet under your sink. Blue liquids, foaming sprays, toxic gels. You are storing a miniature chemical plant, and you've been trained to believe that the more it smells like a laboratory, the cleaner your home is. You spray, you inhale, you scrub until your hands are raw, and then you obediently trudge back to the store to buy more. But what if I told you the ultimate stain assassin isn't a complex chemical cocktail? It's a simple white powder, discovered in an 18th century lab, that doesn't just clean stains, it chemically disassembles them at a molecular level. Yellow stains from 30 years of hard water? Gone. Rust rings that survived every scrub brush you ever owned? Vanished. I've seen people use this to save bathtubs that had rust sitting in them for 3 decades, looking better than new after just 2 applications. This is the story of oxalic acid, the $1 miracle the $200 billion cleaning industry hopes you never find out about. Welcome to What They Hide, where we expose the cover-up happening right under your own roof. The cleaning industry wants you to believe their formulas are space-age technology. History tells a darker story. Go back to Sweden, 1776. While the world sleeps, a poor pharmacy clerk named Carl Wilhelm Scheele is working in the shadows of a cramped apothecary shop. He isn't a nobleman or a professor. He's a genius living on the edge of poverty, conducting world-changing experiments with borrowed flasks and flickering candlelight. That morning, Scheele had been scouring the damp woods for common wood sorrel, a humble weed most people stepped on. He was obsessed with the plant's sharp sting and wanted to unlock its chemical soul. Under a low, steady flame, he boiled the leaves into a thick green mash. As the clock struck midnight, the liquid evaporated, leaving behind needle-like white crystals gleaming like diamonds. In a daring old-world ritual, Scheele placed a crystal on his tongue. The intense, sour strike confirmed his discovery: oxalic acid. He documented its molecular claw that could dissolve minerals and erase rust instantly. But the academic elite ignored the poor clerk. His secret was buried in dusty journals for a century, and Scheele died at just 43, poisoned by the very chemicals he spent his life unearthing. Fast forward to 1882 in Indianapolis. A manufacturing chemist named George William Hoffman was cooking a pot of rhubarb for dinner. When he finished, he witnessed the impossible. The pot, which had been blackened for years with mineral grease and tarnish that no scrubbing could remove, was suddenly gleaming like a mirror. Hoffman knew immediately. The rhubarb contained Scheele's long-lost oxalic acid. He began selling the powder in brown paper bags to saloons across America. Barkeepers used it to restore brass rails and iron stoves to factory condition. They called it Barkeeper's Friend. But Barkeeper's Friend isn't the only one. Others stumbled upon this secret through products like Zud, which uses the exact same acid to tackle the stains other cleaners can't touch. For 140 years, the formula hasn't changed. Why? Because you can't improve on perfection. But here is the deception. While the pros used this for a century, the industry started pushing foaming sprays and scented liquids. They replaced an eternal $1 solution with a monthly subscription to $15 plastic bottles. They traded your health and your wallet for their profit margins. But why does this poisoned clerk's crystal embarrass every modern product on the cleaning aisle? To understand that, you have to understand the molecular war happening on your bathtub. Most commercial cleaners use surfactants, essentially fancy scented soap molecules that try to lift dirt. But rust, calcium scale, and 30-year-old stubborn yellowing aren't dirt. They are ionic bonds fused to your porcelain at a molecular level. Soap cannot break those bonds. No amount of scrubbing can break those bonds. You are literally bringing a knife to a nuclear fight. Enter Scheele's discovery. When oxalic acid hits a rust stain, iron oxide, it triggers a double displacement reaction. The acid releases oxalate ions that act like high-speed molecular drills. They don't just clean the iron, they chelate it. In chemistry, chelation comes from the Greek word for claw. The oxalate ions wrap around the iron atoms like a ruthless claw, tearing them away from the porcelain and converting them into iron oxalate. This new compound is 100% water-soluble. The stain doesn't get pushed around, it is gutted from the inside out, collapsing and melting until it can be rinsed away like common salt. And here is the peak of the deception. The global household cleaning industry is worth the $200 billion. They spend millions on TV ads to sell you oxygen-infused foams that disappear in seconds. Why? Because when a product disappears, you have to go back to the store. Oxalic acid is an existential threat to this empire. You cannot build a billion-dollar legacy on a powder that solves the problem permanently in one application. Planned obsolescence is their business model, and permanence is their greatest enemy. They buried Shayla's secret in 1776, and they are still trying to bury it today. It is time to stop being a recurring revenue stream for massive corporations. You are about to graduate from a consumer to a restorer. But pay attention, this isn't a spray and pray commercial. This is chemistry, and it requires a specific protocol. Step 1. Finding the forgotten powder. When you walk into a hardware store, ignore the bright lights of the cleaning aisle. They don't want you to find this there. Instead, head to the paint or wood restoration section. Look for a plain plastic tub or bag labeled Oxalic Acid or Wood Bleach. You are looking for pure, white crystals. A single 2-pound tub costs less than a lunch special, but contains enough power to clean every bathtub in your neighborhood. Or, if you prefer a pre-mixed version, look for Zud or Barkeeper's Friend. They are powered by the same molecular assassin. Step 2. The restoration ritual. The mix. Preparation is everything. You will need a plastic bucket. Never use metal as the acid will react with it immediately. The ratio. Add 2 tablespoons of oxalic acid crystals to 1 quart, 1 liter of warm water. The critical rule. Always add acid to the water. Never add water to the acid. The method. Stir until the crystals are completely dissolved and the water is clear. The armor. Before you even open the container, put on rubber gloves and eye protection. If you are handling the dry powder, wear a mask. You do not want to breathe in the molecular needles of the dust. Ensure your bathroom fan is on or a window is wide open. This is a concentrated acid. Treat it with the respect it demands. Step 3. The silent siege. Application. Dip a sponge or a nylon brush into your solution and apply it generously to the stained areas. Targeting. Focus on the yellow hard water crust, the orange rust rings under the faucet, or the gray soap scum that has turned into stone. Warning: do not use this on natural stone like granite, marble, or limestone. It will etch and dull the surface, leaving permanent damage. The secret. Now, the hardest part. Walk away. For the next 20 to 30 minutes, do not touch it. Do not scrub, do not waste your muscle fiber. Right now, the oxalate ions are engaging in molecular warfare, clawing the iron and calcium off your tub and into the water. If the stain is 30 years old, give it a full 30 minutes. Let the chemistry be your slave. Step 4. The resurrection. The reveal. After the wait, take a damp cloth and wipe. The grime won't just move, it will vanish. Rinse the entire surface thoroughly with cold water to neutralize the acid. What you are looking at isn't just clean, it is the original factory floor finish. Smooth, white, and untouched. You haven't just cleaned a tub, you've performed a $500 restoration for less than 5 cents. Step 5. The deadly sin. Listen to me very carefully. This is the most important part of this video. Never mix oxalic acid with bleach. Most households have a bottle of bleach or a bleach-based foaming cleaner under the sink. If you mix oxalic acid with bleach, you trigger a violent chemical reaction that releases chlorine gas. This is the same lethal chemical weapon used in the trenches of World War I. One breath will sear your lungs and can cause permanent damage, or worse. If you have recently used bleach in your tub, rinse it for 10 minutes with hot water before even thinking about using oxalic acid. Respect the chemistry, or it will destroy you. Use it correctly, and you will never buy a miracle spray again. Here is the reality check. We have locked ourselves indoors, breathing toxic fumes from expensive spray bottles, all while nature and history provided the solution centuries ago. We've been trained to value foaming action and lemon scents over actual molecular efficiency. We've been tricked into believing that cleaning should be a hard, expensive, and never-ending ritual. Oxalic acid didn't disappear because it stopped working. It was buried because it worked too well. A product that eliminates the need for itself is the cleaning industry's worst nightmare. If this video opened your eyes to the $200 billion cover-up, hit subscribe and share it. Every share is a blow against the industry of deception. See you next time on What They Hide.